Hello and welcome to this demonstration of ClickLearn. My name is Peter Højlund Løvskov and I am the Customer Success Manager here at ClickLearn. Now I'm going to show you how you can very easily create documentation and turn that into e-learning and deliver this in multiple formats so you can support your different end users. But I'm actually going to start backwards and start showing you the end result. So let's start out by having a look at how are your end users going to engage with it? What are they going to be viewing? And then afterwards, we can go into the application itself and see how do we create this. So to start out with, this here is an example of a learning portal. This one here is one that I created for Microsoft Teams. And the fun story about this one was that I was giving the task saying, if you only have one workday, how much can you create for learning material for Microsoft Teams? So within one workday, I managed to create a learning portal like the one we're viewing here. I of course use ClickLearn. The result is a learning portal that is based on HTML. So I can easily access the material from any device. It's made in a responsive design. So if I need to access from a mobile device, tablet, or computer, that is possible and it's scalable thereafter. I also made the learning portal completely searchable. So by typing in a couple of letters or the entire word, I can instantly get suggestions of what word would I be looking for within my learning portal and get references to any work instructions that I've created with those words. As you see here, I have a learning portal that is consisting of 8 groups. So I divided up all my recordings into 8 groups. If I go into one of the groups, you will see that I have additionally different recordings. And if I go into one of these recordings or work instructions, you see that I get the complete work instruction. First of all, indexed, structured. I get the written instructions on how to access the meeting. And then, of course, when I need to share the screen, what do I need to share? And I've added in additional information of what I need to be aware of. Alongside of my HTML page here, I of course have different formats and links to those. So if I want a different way of understanding and learning this, well, then I have that possibility. Now here in the bottom part, I have something called content. When I click on that, we get the full view of everything that is available. Now, if we go back to the front page, you will actually see that when I click on content, the bolded parts are the ones that I have from my different groups, and the non-bolded part are the work instructions that I've created. So within one day here, I actually created about 20 different work instructions. I have them all categorized into different groups, 8 different groups. And not only that, I actually had this replay. So replay is a feature that I'll show you a little later on in this demonstration, but where ClickLearn automatically goes in and recaptures everything on a different UI language. So in this case here, I replayed this in Danish and German. So if we go to German and do not translate it, because now you will see that ClickLearn have a complete German learning portal. If I go into the one that we were looking at earlier, well, then you can see that every single thing is set up exactly like the original English one, but now everything is in German. Even the part that I added in manually down here, I had localized and translated into German. So very easily, you deliver one URL to your end users, and now they can access either the language of their choice or the learning format of their choice because you make it available for them that easily. Now, I also have this one called Download Full Learning Portal. What this gives me is a complete PDF file consisting of every single work instructions in here. First, it's going to be indexed in and grouped in here, and then finally I'll get all the recordings. If I click on the index here, it will of course take me to the recording of my choice. Very neat additional feature we have in here. So this here is of course an example of what a learning portal could look like. Mine here is of course set up in my company colors and a 2D icon, etc. But that is how I wanted it. Of course, if you want this in 3D logos, icons, in multiple colors, different text, etc., all of that is customizable. We will help you set it up so it has that look and feel that you want to deliver towards your customers. And it will, of course, not have ClickLearn branded anywhere. Now, this is one example. Now, another example is also that you can take a learning portal like this here and create it for a different application. Like today, it's going to be for customer engagement. So if you see here, I have a customer engagement system, but I actually took this learning portal that I created for CE and had that embedded directly into my business application. So I created one that's called ClickLearn Help. I've added it up here. So if I click on that one, it will actually take me directly to the learning portal of my CRM system. Here I can again go in, find the recording I want to see, and ClickLearn will instantly give me a recording on how to create an account. But not only that, you might also have noticed that I have, of course, my 7 different formats, my HTML, PDF, Word, PowerPoint, my 3 different types of videos, but I also have an assistant. Now, if I click on my assistant here, what he will do is take me back to the live system. He will first of all give me the written instructions I've added in here manually, and now he will guide me on top of the live system through the process of how to create an account. And I don't need to tell him to progress to the next step because he will instantly know that as soon as I click on the field, he will progress to the next step. So this here is going to be a little guide that will give you a kind of a GPS guiding you through the process on top of the live system, and he will show me the same process as I would normally go in and teach you. So not only do I get the 7 different learning formats so I can understand it and learn it the correct way, but also get this little assistant that will guide me through the processes that I may not recall or have forgotten some of the steps through. And as soon as I know, okay, now I know where I am, I know exactly what I need to do, I can simply just turn him off and then I can continue within the system as I want to. So this was a quick view of how do I actually engage with the learning material from ClickLearn. Now, how do I create this? Well, first of all, I need a business system like the one we're looking at here, customer engagement. Secondly, I need ClickLearn Studio. So ClickLearn Studio is a click once application. There's no complex infrastructure. There's no server integrations. It's just downloading this click once application, about 50, 60 megabytes large. You add it to the computer of your author. So the ones that are going to be creating the documentation, those are the ones that need the application. The only requirement we have is that you run it from a Windows OS. That's it. So when you go about creating a process, you simply go up here on New, click on New. ClickLearn will now present to you a view of icons. Now, these icons here, they will actually represent a business-specific connector. So for each icons, we have created a unique connector that understands that very business application. So as you can see, we have connectors for the entire Dynamics 365, but we also cross platform application, meaning that if you have a process that takes you outside the boundaries of your application, for instance, let's take an example from CE, you have a process, you need to export to Excel, well then we can follow that process because as soon as you open up Excel, ClickLearn will automatically change over to the Excel connector and continue from there. So we support the entire Windows, the entire Office 365, both for on-prem versions for Windows and also the web versions. But we also support anything that you create with the Power Applications. So if you're gonna do a Canvas app, model-driven app, do anything with Flow, Power BI, well then we can also document that and create documentation for you. Very, very important. And then, of course, we have for Teams, and we support custom web applications and Windows applications with the 2 generic connectors. So about 95% chance of wherever your process is going to take you internally, we can cover that and help you create documentation. Now, in this case here, I'm going to go into my customer engagement. I'm going to choose one of the languages that I simply use. In this case here, I've set it up in English, but all of these languages are the ones that I set up for my installation. So, of course, you can set it up so it matches the requirements that you have internally. We support all the UI languages of Microsoft. Whatever language you need to do documentation within, we can help you. Now here I'll click English, and as I click on yes, ClickLearn will go into the background. It will turn on the recorder, and it will let me capture the process. All I need to be aware of is a green rectangle that appears as I hover over the user interface. So here you can see that I get a little green rectangle, and in the top right corner you can see that I have the Dynamics symbol stating that I'm using a Dynamics connector. Now, if I, for instance, need to go into a different application, that could be that I need to go to the Windows application. Well, then you can see here in the bottom part, it automatically switches over to the Windows icon. And as I go back up here, it turns back to the dynamics. So our connectors are what you could call smart connectors. I don't need to tell it what to do. I simply just follow the green rectangle, ClickLearn take care of the rest. If I go into a context menu, ClickLearn will follow me there and capture it. If I add or delete any text, ClickLearn will capture that and add it to my process. I'll just stop the recording here and we can save this as edit an account demo. And I'm going to go ahead and produce this simply so we can get a view of what is it that happens from following a green rectangle across the screen. So as I hit produce, ClickLearn will now create these 7 different formats that we were looking at earlier. So we'll create 4 different types of written instructions, 3 different types of videos. 2 of them are interactive. Now, as I click here on view, you can now see that I have access to all the different formats. But as we saw in the beginning, from the web page, I also have links to all the other to all the formats. So from going in here, you can now see that I have my title, I have pre-created written instructions, perfectly cropped screen captures with the marking of the area of interest. Everything aligned like we just captured in the process. If I go to the Word document, well then I get an additional feature of a header where I can capture metadata. In this case here set up with the initials of the authors, so you have my initials, the title, and my corporate identity shining through. Again, everything customizable so it can be set up so it has that look and feel that you want to deliver to your end users. The PDF will of course be a conversion of the Word, so they will look alike. If you're going to do classroom training or internal meetings, well then the PowerPoint presentation has been altered just a slight bit. So in this case here, you're most likely going to be viewing it on a large screen. So to give your audience a better experience, you get the full screen capture. Now, you still have the written instruction, you still have your corporate identity and the title shining through everything here. But now it's set up so they can easily understand the process that you're about to show them. So these are the 4 different types of written instructions, the HTML, PDF, Word, and PowerPoint. And we also deliver the 3 different types of videos because your end users have different ways of understanding. Some are very happy with the white paper that we typically use, but some people need the classroom training, the social training, and some people are very auditive and visual, so they need to have that video that tells them and shows you how the process is working. And for that, we have the Show Me here.
Click on the item accounts. Click on the link in cell, account name. Click on the text field account name. Click on the text field fax. Click on the menu item More commands. Click on the menu item Refresh.
As you can see, the cursor is moving seamlessly through all the steps. And you also have this high quality digital voice to narrate out each of the instructional sentences. So from just as you saw before, following a green rectangle through the process, I already have a video that is working seamlessly. And even though I was fumbling around with the mouse showing you the connectors, none of this has been captured. We only capture the part where we interact with the business application. We have at the moment about 140 different voices covering about 45 different languages, male, female voices, and different accents to the major languages. So there is a large variety to choose between so you get that narration that you desire. At the end of the material, you also have this feedback option where you can go in and rate it and give a instant comment. Where this has been captured, I'll show you later on in the demonstration, but it's also so you know that this shortens the distance between your end users and you as an author. Now, the second video we've got here is a try me video. Now it's going to run pretty much like the previous one.
Click on the item accounts.
But it's no longer progressing. So I'll get the narration. I'm going to get the written instruction. I'm going to get shown where to go to. So I'll just turn off the sound here because we've heard Sally, one of the American females here, narrate the instructions. But now it's giving me control of the cursor. So now I can go over here and actually perform the steps that are being required of me. Now if I click somewhere else, it will not progress until I go to that specific field. So this gives me a sandbox filled solution. So now if I'm very kinesthetic, I get to try the process as if I'm in the live system, but I'm not capable of tampering with any valuable data. Very, very strong feature. At the end, again, you have a feedback option. The last video I've got here, that is a try me video. So the try me
Click on the item accounts.
video is working on the same simulation as the previous one. So I'll turn up the sound from the beginning. Now it's going to tell me where to go. And it's going to give me the narration, but it's not going to show me. So let's say that I don't know where the item account is, and I'm looking around here somewhere. It will eventually show me where it is, score me wrong. Now, if I click somewhere else, it will not progress until I go to that specific field, and of course, give me a wrong score. Now here at the end, you get a test result. This is set up initially by an 80% passing rate of 5 attempts, also customizable if you have other standards. This is to certify that your end users are ready to go to the live system. Now, our material is also SCORM compliant, so if you're using a learning management system, we can build a zip file accordingly to the SCORM format of your LMS, so you can upload it and reuse everything in your LMS. Now, these are the 7 different formats and how they support the different learning styles of your end users. But one thing is to know how to go through the process. Another thing is to understand the process. So we need to add more value to our process. And very easily we can do that. Now by going back into ClickLearn and going to the editor, I can now very easily structure my process. Over here on my right hand side, I have a preview pane so I can easily see whatever I'm altering and changing. So in this case here, let's say I want to add in a chapter with the objective. I want to add in a note stating what that objective is. So that could be and even these parts that I add in manually, they will be narrated.
Use this guide to edit an account in Dynamics CE.
I can also add in a picture. So let's say that I want to add something additional to this one. I'll add a note, go and find a picture that I want to add. That could be my little friend down here. So I'll add him in. So you're not limited to the parts that you capture with the screen with the green rectangle. You can also add more value like I did here easily. You can also add in hyperlinks. So if you have links to web pages or videos or whatever you have, you can add that in here. You can restructure the things. So if you don't want to be looking at one specific account, but you want them to be able to choose anyone, simply just right click on the cell, say choose any row, and ClickLearn will not only change my written instruction, but also the marking of the area of interest. And as I go into the try me or the test me video, all of these links will now be active to progress to the next step. I can reorganize my steps in here. So let's say that I have multiple steps from the same page or the form in here. Well, then I can have those grouped together into a numbered list or a bulleted list. I can a numbered list or bulleted list. And as I click on numbered list, ClickLearn will now create one thumbnail consisting of these 2 steps and give me the thumbnail updated. I can even add in a note in the middle of a group saying, well, by the way, remember something that you want to remember, and have that align with the next step here. And now ClickLearn will say, remember something that I need to remember. Click on the text field facts. I can also add in saying that I'm coming from this page and I'm looking in and focusing on this area. I want to add in a screen capture. Well, then I can take the entire screen, add that in as a bookmark, and now I know how to do that. So you're not limited in ClickLearn. You can always add more value and add more structure to it. And when I'm all satisfied with this process here, I've aligned it with chapters and subchapters. I'll simply just save it. Thank you. And now I'm ready to produce it and everything will be updated. Now I can also change my UI into a different language. So let's say that I want to create this one here into German. So now I've updated my business application into German. I'll go back into ClickLearn. I'll say, please do a replay. It would tell me, do not touch the mouse or the keyboard after selecting yes. I want to do this on German. It will take me back to the live system and it will automatically run through the process. Now, of course, you cannot see me touching the mouse or the keyboard, but if you notice the cursor, that will actually jump through the process and not move seamlessly as if I was moving the mouse. Automatically, it will jump over to the Firmen, which is the German word for account, and then progress through the process as we captured it. This feature actually gives you the ability to go in, set up your processes, have ClickLearn automatically run through them. You can go out, grab a cup of coffee, and when you come back, all of this has been updated. In this case here, if I go back into the editor, you will see that everything is aligned just like we did it in the English version, but now here in the German one, everything is updated into German, but still aligned like we did it originally. Now the part that I put in manually, they are still going to be in English, so those I need to translate myself, or I can rely on the built-in Azure translation services, have this translated from English and into German, click OK, hit produce, and ClickLearn will now create the 7 different formats accordingly to the update that I did in the editor in 2 different versions, one in German and one in English. And in this short amount of time, ClickLearn has now performed this for me. Now, when I go up here in the view, you can see that I now have an English and a German version, but still just one source file. And if we go to the German version, you can see that everything is aligned just like we did it in the editor, but now in complete German. And even the video, that has been updated too. So by clicking on Demo,
Ziel. Verwenden Sie dieses Handbuch, um ein Konto in Dynamics zu bearbeiten.
and as you can see, I have a perfectly narrated German video made available. So this is how easy I can go about creating documentation, have it added more value to it, and even have it created in different languages in a very short amount of time. And also how it was possible for me to create the Teams learning portal within one day with 20 different processes. But one thing is to create the documentation. Now that we created this, we want to create the learning portal. And to do that, I first of all want to group them. So in this case here, you can see that I have something down here called books. These are the categories that we were looking at earlier in the learning portal. And then I have a shelf. That is the entire learning portal. And the Inside Help project, that is the solution file that I can upload into my CRM system and from there access the material directly. To create a book, I simply just go up here on New, create a book, and if I enter one of the books that we're looking at here, you can see that I here have a book with the different recordings that I've simply just dragged over if I want to do that, or I can drag back. The same thing goes with the learning portal. Here is just the books that I've dragged over, and I can of course host this anywhere that I want to, but if I want to make it as easy as possible, we can host it for you. So if you hit publish here, it will be hosted on our content cloud. That is hosted on Microsoft Azure. You get your own login to it. And that gives you some additional features because now you can add in tracking, you can add in content federations. So that means you can lock down the learning portal so only a limited amount of people are viewable, can access the learning portal and view it. That also gives you the ability to go in and see, well, how have your end users actually engaged with the material? So here we create a heat map where you can see where in the world have they viewed it. You can get some overall details on how have your content been downloaded and viewed, but we can also give you all the way down to user level information. So that means that you can actually see, well, how did your end user B do in the test me, and did he see the entire show me or stop after 10 seconds? We can see the feedback that they have added into the feedback panel. If you have locked it down and they need to use a single sign-on or a cloud ID that we can provide you with, well, then you can see who is the user that has given this information or this comment. Since the learning pool is completely searchable, well, then the top searches are also going to be captured in here. And now you can see what are they looking for. Have you provided that information? If yes, fine. If not, well, then you can go in, do the recording, add it to the learning portal, hit publish, and the URL that you have provided them with originally, that will be updated and instantly have the access to that material. It's a very, very strong additional feature. So all in all, this is how easy you can go about creating documentation, create the learning portal, have it uploaded and delivered directly where they need them inside the business application, and also in multiple languages and in different formats so that support their specific learning style.